She seems settled.
But for how long? Our little Adelka barely sleeps through the night.
Give her time. She likes the stars on her mobile. They make her smile.
Not as much as you do. She loves her mother very much.
And her father.
She's not always happy when I pick her up, though.
She's only a couple months old. Try not to read too much into it, my love.
Are you okay? Your shoulders. You seem tense.
With everything going on, I'm worried about Adelka. About the future she'll have, especially if we stay here.
But we've lived in Prague all our lives.
It's true. But things have changed. Can't you feel it in the air? Czechoslovakia isn't the place we grew up in anymore.
That's not entirely fair. The market, the cafe, the store, all passed down from generation to generation. Things might change, but there's a reminder of what came before.
I know you're trying to calm me, but we have to talk about this seriously. I'm worried about raising our daughter here. I know we don't really have anywhere else to go, but I wouldn't be happy with myself if I didn't say it.
It's going to be okay, my darling. Dubček will be successful in his negotiations with the Soviets, and our little Adelka will have all the freedom to live however she wishes.
I adore your optimism, Ludvik. It makes me want to kiss you. But you can be so naive.
It doesn't matter what happens next, because I'll be there to keep you both safe. You know that.
I know that. Sounds like our beautiful girl wants us.
Oh, you wonderful city. Whenever I look out of the window, I count my blessings to be here. I believe in Dubček's socialism with a human face and all that it has given us. But Jozka is right. It's like the calm before the storm. Everyone feels it. So, we must make the most of this glorious spring while it lasts. Long may this peace continue. Though I fear, not that I'd ever admit it to my darling wife, the end is coming.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that. I know this ship is bigger on the inside, but I expected it to be like my colony ship, the Madrigal. I thought it'd be mostly storage holds, huge engine rooms, be practical at least. If the doctor's alone in here, why are there so many swimming pools? And now this?
Do you have a problem with my art gallery?
Whoa, you made me jump.
Sorry, didn't mean to sneak up on you.
And no, I actually rather like it. Where did you get all these paintings from? I recognize some of them.
Oh, you know, here and there, the odd flea market and car boot sale.
Really? These frames alone are surely worth a lot more than a handful of whatever currency you used.
Well, I might have rescued one or two from unfortunate ends. You'd be surprised how often history records paintings lost to fire or decay.
This is Jean Metzinger's Man with a Pipe, isn't it? I thought that went missing in transit.
I may have gone to check and there may or may not have been an attempt to steal it that went wrong, and it ended up in my hands.
Is this what you do between saving civilizations and thwarting invasions? Save cultural artifacts from being lost forever?
Among other good deeds, yes. Does anything else catch your eye?
This? Here? I feel like I saw it in a book as a child.
Gustave Courbet's The Stonebreakers. Everyone thinks it was destroyed in the Second World War, but you can see that's not exactly true.
It's haunting. So real. Like we're really watching two men at work.
In some respects, we are.
I can feel the sweat and strain of the back-breaking work they're doing. I like the realism of it. I never know what to think of more abstract work.
You like witnessing real life.
Better that than interacting with it. People aren't always the easiest to understand, but observation helps, like in science.
So long as you don't just observe, we need to have the courage to throw ourselves in and live rather than just look. That's why I left my home, why I keep traveling. Speaking of, we're landing, so if you want to follow me back to the control room.
Probably best. I don't want to get too lost in these corridors. Do you know where we are? I'm looking forward to being somewhere new.
Alistair, are you listening?
Sorry, I was lost in my thoughts for a moment, thinking about this bridge.
Are you still mesmerized by everything here?
There's nothing as divinely elegant as Charles Bridge in all of London. You can trust me on that.
Is that why you always insist on meeting here?
Whenever I have a spare moment, which, admittedly, isn't often, I come here and let the world wash over me. You aren't impressed by it?
To me, it's just a bridge. I cross it so often it doesn't seem special.
That's a shame.
Maybe one day you could show me what London is truly like.
Would you like that? Really?
You say such mean things about the place, about your home, and I cannot believe them. London seems such an exotic place.
Like Prague is to me. I suppose new worlds hold such promise. Tell me, Irena, do you have any plans for tomorrow evening?
That depends on what you're suggesting.
Cheeky. What about dinner at that place you like? The restaurant where we first met?
You're sweet to remember that. But I don't have enough...
Hush now! None of that. I'll pay for us both. It was my idea after all.
You don't have to keep doing that.
Why not? I enjoy your company. Very much, in fact.
If you insist. But then after, perhaps we could go to the bar of Streamper. They know me there. They don't always charge me.
Will your friends be there?
Which ones are you talking about?
Doesn't matter.
Alistair, tell me.
You know what I do. I'm a diplomat. I can't be seen socializing with.
Please, finish that sentence.
Some of your friends are somewhat radical.
What my friends say after a couple of drinks means nothing. They are drunks, not revolutionaries. Do your concern does make you very handsome?
Well, I suppose. The same to you. But pretty, I mean. Yes, okay, it's a date.
Perfect. Try not to worry, my dear. Or do you genuinely believe I'm leading you astray?
Of course not.
I must go. My mother needs me. But I will see you tomorrow, at our usual time. Now, bend down, so I can kiss you on the cheek. Unless you would rather I leave without?
Of course. Parting is such sweet sorrow. But what's the rest of that couplet? This wasn't supposed to happen. I was supposed to come here for my posting and do my duty. Not fall in love with a local woman. Perhaps if I stare into the Vltava River long enough, I'll figure out what to do next.
So, where are we this time?
Smell that beautiful air.
Why? Is that a clue? I don't know anything about other planets smelling differently. Edivane's world was supposed to have similar atmospheric makeup as Earth, once the terraforming was done.
Don't you recognize it? This is Earth.
Oh, I never thought I'd be back here.
You sound disappointed.
Not entirely. I suppose I expected traveling with you to be brand new worlds to explore, and based on the stops since we first met, that seemed plausible. I didn't consider the possibility of returning home.
This isn't the UK in 2085, but Czechoslovakia in the 1960s.
More than 100 years into my past. Might as well be a different planet. Okay, so why here?
I've wanted to come for ages, but it's the sort of place I knew I should share with a friend. It's lovely, don't you think?
I suppose. But the 1960s? That means we're in the middle of the Cold War, correct? So Eastern Europe might not be the safest place for us to be.
Well, we've arrived during the Prague Spring, and if my timing is right, we should be well ahead of any unpleasantness. Just so long as we're not too close to August 20th, 1968 to be more precise.
Should that mean something to me?
It isn't even my home, and I know more of Earth's history than you do.
I know about the space race. Do you care about that? The US and the USSR racing to have supremacy in basic spacecraft? Sputnik 1 in October 57, or any of the Apollos from 61 to 72, I had to learn all about the missions in preparation for the colonization of Edeben's world. That sort of history is useful to know, so you don't repeat yesterday's mistakes if something goes wrong. The moon landings are next year, so we're not here for that. I sense this is more social history?
I take it back. You know your stuff.
Thank you.
The Prague Spring was a period of political liberalization and protest, a way for the Czech people to regain some control over the political system they lived under. But the more Czechoslovakia moved away from the Soviet leadership's idea of strict conformity, the closer the country came to conflict. It's a shame. The Prague Spring will end on August 20th, when the USSR invades. Soldiers, tanks, the whole shebang.
Can we do anything about it?
Nothing at all. History has already been written.
I expected you'd say something like that, but thought I had to ask.
You have a kind heart, Kim Lee.
Perhaps we should leave? If we can't do anything, maybe it would be easier? It must be hard to watch life unfold and not be able to help.
You're right, it is tough. But we'll be out of here before then, I'm sure. I think we should stay for a day or two at least. Soak up the atmosphere. What do you say?
A couple of days can't hurt. Which way?
Your choice.
So, what caused this rebellion?
Maybe not the most accurate noun, but I see your point. There was a lot of resentment against the communist tendencies toward a lack of personal freedom and considerable censorship. The local economy wasn't in good shape, being bent to the influence of the USSR, and there were reasonable feelings that America would support any sort of anti-Moscow uprising.
And it all boiled over until change was inevitable.
Dubček replaced Novotny as party secretary, and his reforms led to a weakening of state control and a greater freedom of speech. Culture flourished, and a country found it could breathe again for the first time in quite a while. But there were concerns that Czechoslovakia was starting to reject communism and renege on the Warsaw Pact.
Remind me what that was?
An agreement that communist countries would defend each other if one was attacked. And since the Czech socialism with a human face looked different to their neighboring countries, first off came talks and negotiations to try and ease the international tensions. But the Soviet leader Brezhnev was unwilling to let one of his satellite states break rank.
Oh, I know that name. He was a Secretary of Defense and Space for the Soviet Union. There was some doctrine named for him.
Exactly. He argued that anywhere within the Soviet sphere of influence needed to subordinate its economy and societal ethos to the Eastern Bloc, and that any insurrection would be met by military intervention.
Which I suppose is what happens here. A dictator doesn't like someone trying to break free and lashes out.
Dubček was trying to do something honorable and considerate, but Soviet control was all-consuming and fear was rife. The Western powers held back from acting because they were wary of greater repercussions, so they watched events unfold and did nothing.
Like we have to do.
We're time travelers, it's not exactly the same.
Was it worth it? The Prague Spring, I mean?
Freedom is always worth it. You could perhaps argue that without these months of trying, the Velvet Revolution, the non-violent transition of power that saw Czechoslovakia free itself from 41 years of one-party rule, might not have happened, or not when it did. Kim Lee, what are you doing?
Getting to know the architecture. It's all real.
Well, of course it is. This isn't some VR game.
But it's the past. We can talk about it all we like, but it seems so distant and hypothetical. The grand scheme of history, Dubček's actions, it's intangible, but Prague isn't.
Is that why you're touching everything?
Have you never done that? Felt the texture of a new place? Touch this wall, these doors, the firmness of the stone, the scratches in the wood. It's all so real.
This is why I travel with people. There's always a new way of experiencing life, even after all my time in that blue box.
Well, what do you think?
I like it. You're right. I would have just walked down this street and missed so much. Wherever we go, Kim Lee, let's keep doing this. Though I dread to think what we must look like to other people.
Can I take something with me when we leave?
What do you mean? A souvenir?
Precisely. Something to remind me of my first trip into the past.
I'm not sure.
Nothing historically significant, of course. Maybe a small coin? Whatever their equivalent of a penny is. Just so I'll always remember Prague. And I'll be able to prove to myself that this is real.
Okay then, that seems fair. Let's see what I can do. Are you hungry?
This dinner looks delicious. Thank you, my love.
It's just goulash. I didn't have time to make any knedlik, but we have some leftover bread.
It's fantastic. What you do with the scraps of meat and vegetables we buy is far better than the banquets in those lavish palaces.
We both know that isn't true. You don't need to keep doing that.
I don't know what you mean.
Trying to make me feel better about everything. I'm an adult. I don't need constantly protecting. It's just a bowl of stew, nothing special. Now, eat up or we'll be late for show.
Oh, sorry.
You've always said that we're equals, so we should keep treating each other as such, regardless of how long this does or doesn't last. So, perhaps we should talk about whatever is bothering you, rather than skirt around it any longer.
I'm not worried about anything.
Your leg is shaking. We both know what that means. Is it a thanks?
So you know about that?
I hear things as much as you.
Why do you think they're there? I thought the Soviets had agreed to withdraw them. That's what I read in the newspaper.
They must be there to apply pressure to Dubček's negotiations, perhaps to weaken his position. I can't think of another reason. It must be a political play by Brezhnev.
Maybe it's an oversight or training? There might be an innocent answer.
Ludvik, I fear you're going to have a hard time finding the best in the soldiers sat on our country's doorstep, waiting for who knows what kind of orders.
You're right. I know you are. But can't there be the slightest sliver of hope?
The hope lies in the fact that they haven't moved yet.
I heard there's a fully manned tank only a few miles from here.
So close to the outskirts of Prague? Surely not. That would be too bold, even for them.
I don't know if it's true. I only heard the story whispered from person to person.
That's the sort of thing you want to be sure about. Do you remember who you heard it from?
No, sorry. But I wouldn't have said it if I didn't think it might be true.
Think or fear?
So, in conclusion, it doesn't look like it'll be an issue in the immediate future. But based on what the Soviets are doing, I think we'll need to act sooner than expected.
Brilliant work, as always, Alistair.
Thank you, sir.
If you could drop off a précis of the report, that would be greatly appreciated.
Okay. Is that for you?
For me to pass up the chain?
Shall I just stick to the headlines going forward?
Of course not. We must follow protocol.
Sorry, sir. Of course.
It won't be long until you'll be vying for my job now.
Your posting in Czechoslovakia is nearly over, isn't it? Do you know where you'll be heading next?
Somewhere nicer, with any luck. I've always wanted to visit Greece.
My fingers are crossed for you.
Only a matter of counting down the days. So, maybe filter out some of the more extreme aspects of the report. Don't want to raise any concerns.
But then it wouldn't be the truth.
I'm not asking you to lie. No. Just not scare them up top. There's no need to raise our heads above the parapet. Eh, lad?
But what if something bad happens and they need our help?
And what precisely do you expect us to do? Look at me, Alistair. I'm too old to do anything useful, and you're just a boy. Have you ever held a gun? You're too young to have fought, that's for sure. How long did it take you to grow that mustache?
I, could handle myself in a crisis.
I'd like to see that. No, scratch that. I most assuredly would not. It would be like sending a lamb out to slaughter.
Then can we not ask for help from elsewhere? Summon soldiers or grant sanctuary?
Bless you, but that isn't going to happen. Not here. You've changed your tune considerably.
Have I?
I remember when you joined us out here. You understood our position on Eastern Europe.
I know we don't want to intervene in local disputes, but...
Unless it involves a British citizen. We are not here to act, Alistair. Do you want to be the cause of a grand diplomatic dispute? Do you want the wrath of the Soviet Union banging on your door? And for what? Because your conscience couldn't be soothed. When I saw where you're from, where you were educated, I expected you to have more gumption. We went to the same school, boy. Where's your backbone?
I guess I see things a little differently now, since I've been here in person.
And what precisely has caused this newfound skepticism,
It's all so much more real than I thought.
Are you a gambling man, Alistair?
No, sir. Why?
I am, or at least I was. There's nothing wrong with the odd wager on the horses. I was quite good at it, actually. Learned it from my papa.
Okay.
My point is that I would be willing to gamble every penny I own on the real reason.
I wouldn't hold you to that.
So go on, tell me. Because you know, deep down, and a real man would be strong enough to admit that.
I suppose. I've been spending more time with some of the local people, and I've gotten to know them and their ways. There are some quaint local bars and coffee shops. Wonderful traditional music played by people who live right around the corner. And Charles Bridge. It's so beautiful there. I guess I never realized how much it's like home until I got here. Back in the office in London, it was easy to agree to stand back and do what's best for Britain. But here, when I know these people and know what our hesitancy to act would do to them and their livelihoods, it becomes a lot harder to be impassive and emotionless about these big decisions.
Go on.
People like Tabor and Lazaro, they've welcomed me with open arms. I've spent a few nights sitting and drinking with them, swapping stories about our upbringings. And Irena.
Ah, Irena. You've mentioned her before. Are you sure it's wise to continue to fraternize like that?
She's my friend. It's harmless.
You can't know that. Remember why we're here, Alistair. What you are. Are you sure you can trust her?
She hasn't given me any reason not to.
Of course she hasn't. What enemy agent would?
The thought had crossed my mind, sir.
Do you know what a honeypot is?
She isn't trying to seduce me for information, because she hasn't asked for any. Nor have I said anything.
Yet, my boy. Yet.
There's nothing to worry about. We are simply friends. She's helpful when it comes to local knowledge.
If that's what you want to call it, just keep it in mind. I've seen plenty of young men in your exact position throw their careers away because their heads were turned by some pretty young thing. So unless you can say with complete, verifiable confidence that she's innocent, I'd steer clear. Well, can you?
I assure you, everything is fine. If you excuse me, sir, I'm sure you have other things to attend to.
Of course, Alistair. On you go.
Sir.
He'll learn one day.
My goodness, busier than I expected. Seems like we've stumbled on the local hotspot.
There are a few tables in the corner. I'll save us one.
I'll get us some drinks.
No one's sitting here, and there's no reserve sign, so I'm not sure what the etiquette is so many years in the past. Wow, that still hasn't quite sunk in. I haven't been born yet. My family, they haven't even immigrated to England yet. It's so strange. Technology and style changed and developed so much over a century. But these people, their sense of community, it's so familiar. I'm glad I came with the doctor.
Here we go. Some libation for the evening. And excellent table service from yours truly. Oh, and I have these for you.
Oh, some coins.
The change from ordering the drinks. I thought what you'd said about a memento of a trip, we could buff them up and they'd be nice and shiny. Your face has fallen. Did I do the wrong thing?
No, it's lovely, thank you.
I feel like there's a but coming.
But I had hoped to find something myself, to make it more personal.
Ah, I see. Well, we've got plenty of time for that. I'll leave the coins as a tip.
I might keep one or two, just in case. They're rather pretty.
The lovely lady behind the bar said there was going to be some live music here tonight, so I thought we could stay for that.
That sounds good. It's helpful the TARDIS translates for us. I don't speak Czech.
It's very handy. Otherwise, I'd have to give anyone who traveled with me so many crash courses in linguistics.
So, why is it you travel, Doctor? Always seeming on the move. I always associated it with necessity, a journey from A to B. My Earth is so overpopulated that I never had that luxury.
I suppose mine is a very different way of life for you.
I don't know if I could do it as long as you have. Thousands of years, you said? Don't you ever want to settle down somewhere?
Sometimes. Not really something I think about very often.
Have you ever been to Edevan's world? Is it like everything I've heard?
I'm not sure what I should tell you. You'll see for yourself when we get there.
The long way around.
Listen to that. It's beautiful. Whoop, whoop.
Doctor! Shh!
What? I was just showing my appreciation. Hey, the musicians are over there. Let's see if they want to join us.
Your, cheering was very enthusiastic.
Please, take a seat. I'm the doctor. This is my friend Kim Lee.
Hello.
Nice to meet you both. I'm Ludvik, and this is Jozka.
I haven't seen you in here before. You must be new in town.
Yeah, we arrived a few hours ago.
And headed straight for the entertainment? You must be music lovers.
Oh, absolutely. The way Beethoven's concertos used to fill those parlors.
What?
I grew up listening to the Sawyer Hewitt remixes. They really brought everything to life.
Wait, I'm too early. You're too late. Has Cyndi Lauper started yet? Time Lords just want to have fun too.
I don't recognize the name.
They can't have reached us yet. It should only be a matter of time, though. Walden has a contact who smuggles in Western LPs, so I'll ask him.
So do you only play as a duet, or do you have other bandmates who join from time to time?
It's just the two of us. We're married.
Oh, how nice! No wonder you seem so in tune with each other.
Yes, well, some of our friends also play. And after a couple of beers, we've been known to get our guitars out and all sing together into the night.
Oh, I haven't jammed in so long. I play sax, so maybe I could tag along.
Of course he plays saxophone.
That would be a lot of fun.
I'll go fetch us another round. Same again, Kim Lee, Jozka, Ludvik.
Yes, thank you.
And then I said, it's not fair challenging me to a running race when you've got 2 extra legs. Oh, what was that for?
Extra legs? Maybe these drinks have gone to your head. Wink.
Oh, right, yeah.
I don't get them all, but your stories are brilliant.
And I never thought anyone could top Ludvik's better story. I'm glad we met you. You made my evening.
Same here.
Wow, is it the time? We should be heading back. My sister has been looking after our daughter tonight, so we could play, but we should pick her up.
Would you like to join us for a nightcap? To repay your kindness?
That would be lovely.
Would you mind if I went for a short walk first? It's been a long day, and I'd like to get my thoughts in order.
Is it too much being here in this time?
It's a lot of new things I'd like to process. On my own, if I can.
Of course. Pass me the napkin. I'll draw you a map so you know where to go. I find the night air so refreshing. There you go.
Thank you. I'll see you all later.
Before you go, take this. It's a pager. Press the button and it'll let me know that you want to get in touch, in case you need me.
Thanks, Doctor. Bye.
Is she okay?
Of course. She just sometimes needs a bit of her own space. Don't we all?
I always end up back here. I'm so sorry.
pardon me.
I didn't see you there. Let me help you pick up your coins.
Well, you seemed preoccupied staring over the side of the bridge. You sure you're okay?
Oh, wow. Your accent. You're the only other Brit I've met, except for the guys at the embassy. I'm almost glad I bumped into you.
Why? Do you not like the Czech accent?
No, I do. But it's nice to hear something familiar. Whereabouts are you from?
I grew up in and around Lewisham. Do you know it?
By reputation, I'm from Kent. Not that far away, all things considered. I guess it really is quite a small world.
Well, I should leave you to whatever you were doing.
No, stay, please. It'd be nice to talk to someone who
What?
Who reminds me of home.
Oh, do you not like Prague?
No, it isn't that. Gosh, I feel like I'm coming across terribly.
I guess I don't understand. You just want to talk to someone from Britain?
You see, I work for the British Embassy, so I have to be careful what I say and do and who I talk to, whether I'm at work or not. Brits don't just happen to be wandering around Prague unless they're a diplomat.
Oh, you're afraid of opening up to someone and then discovering they're a political enemy. I get it. Careless talk costs careers. But, why trust me?
I hope you don't take any offense, but you'd make a terrible double agent. You stick out like a sore thumb. You're different. You aren't invested.
I can't be offended when you're right. I'm not a double agent. What you see is what you get with me.
Kind and trustworthy.
If that's what you see.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean that to be flirtatious. I'm already dating. I just realized I don't even know your name. I'm Alistair.
And I'm Kim Lee. Nice to meet you, but I should...
Irina. That's the woman I'm dating. Seeing. I mean, we're friends. I guess it's complicated.
I'm sure it is. Really, I should...
I just don't know where I stand with her. She's so loving and sweet when it's just the two of us. But there's this bar that's full of her so-called friends. And they aren't the best people. They're always talking about change, about the lengths they'll go to get it. It worries me that she agrees with them so freely.
Okay. Sounds like she's politically aware. Is that such a bad thing?
Sometimes she looks at me with such vulnerable eyes, and it's so difficult not to tell her everything I know. To warn her from doing something stupid.
You want to protect her. I think that makes you a good person.
But what if it's a trap? How do I know if I can trust her? My boss says they use women to seduce us and get us to spill our guts. Rumor is, an agent with the US Embassy fell for it and shared state secrets with the Soviets. Nothing major, but enough for him to get shipped home. And I don't think Irina would do that to me, but that's probably exactly what the other guy thought. I don't know what to do.
I'm sorry. I don't even know what to suggest. I've never...
Do I take a chance? Is it worth the risk of being betrayed? Because what I feel, I'm afraid it's genuine and growing by the day.
Maybe that depends on how much you can forgive. When I was younger, my little brother... Alistair? Why are you staring at me like that?
I'm not. Turn around.
Whoa. What is that green light?
It's eerie.
It is. I'm going to investigate.
Wait, don't leave me alone. Please.
Then come with me. Once we know if anything's wrong, I'll take you to my friend. He might be able to give you better advice. That said, I'm not sure emotions are his area of expertise either.
It's a great view.
Our neighbors upstairs, theirs is even better. From their balcony you can see even further across Prague.
It's a lovely apartment too. Your family must be very happy here.
We are. I'd do anything for them. I love them with all my heart.
I'm sure they feel the same about you.
But it's my job to protect them, to keep them safe no matter the cost. I can see it in your eyes, Doctor. I know you'd do the same.
I've always done what I can to protect those in my care.
So, who is Kimley to you?
She's my friend. We met quite recently, actually. We traveled together. I'm an explorer of sorts, and I asked her to come with me.
And she's only a friend? I'm not judging.
Yep, just a friend. She's, I guess you could say she's moving home, and I'm taking her to a new place via the scenic route.
Okay, sorry. And you just happened to come through Prague? You both sound British. So where are you heading?
All over the place for the time being. We're taking in the sights.
I don't think you're telling me the whole truth, but I don't get the impression you're lying either. You're a curious man, Doctor.
As are you, Ludvik.
Perhaps we should drink to that. I think we have some plum brandy inside.
The tea will suffice. Cheers.
Ludvik, your daughter wants you.
Would you excuse me, Doctor?
I was about to say the same. Do you know what's casting that green light?
No, I've never seen it before.
I should check it out. If Kim Lee comes back while I'm away, would you keep an eye on her?
Of course we will. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Has the light done anything?
No, it's just there, coming out of that patch of mist. Not moving or growing in size. I walked all the way around it. It's maybe 20 square meters, and you can see all the way through it if you get close enough. Not sure why it looks green. Did you learn anything talking to the locals?
They all seem to think it's the Soviets, not that they'd admit it out loud. But they aren't happy it seems to have taken the place of the Jan Hus monument.
I doubt that very much.
But if it's not them...
It's alien, of course.
You can't just say, of course, after something like that.
Wait, we're before first contact. How do I explain this?
Did I miss the obviously alien mist do something interesting?
Doctor, can you convince Alistair that aliens are real?
I'm one. Does that count?
Sorry, what? Alien? You look like the spitting image of my uncle.
Uncle?
I shouldn't have asked. Now shush, you two. There's something... Oh.
Greetings. I am Orox.
And I am Treve. We are members of the Koe-Maw. We are here to help.
Pull the other one. I've heard that line before.
We bring the people of this beautiful city a gift.
But... who... what... how are they doing that?
That chest hovering in the air. Is it magnetism?
Could be.
Inside this chest resides the future of Prague.
What's inside? I can't make them out.
Weapons. Why must it always be weapons?
They don't look like any guns I've ever seen.
That's because those disgusting things are from all sorts of other worlds, far in advance of what Earth is capable of.
Take what you want. Take what you need.
There are plenty to go around.
You no longer have to live in fear.
No longer cowering under oppressive forces.
We wish to give you magnificent people the chance to control your own fates.
This is the gift of the Koe-Maw. These weapons will free your destiny.
This is a joke, right? Some students playing a practical joke. Someone must know.
Doctor, you don't seem happy.
These creatures are interfering.
I know history should be preserved, but I thought you might be a little happy, deep down. If the people of Prague have laser rifles and plasma cannons, or whatever is in that floating chest, then they can defend themselves when the Soviets invade. The Prague Spring need not end. Isn't that a good thing?
If only it were that simple. Of course I don't want this freedom to end. Of course I don't want to let the pain and anguish that is to come play out. But we have no choice. If these aliens are successful and change the future, who knows what the consequences might be? If they repel the Red Army now, who knows what might happen next?
But they could build a better future, couldn't they?
Or something far worse. If anyone pulls the trigger on any of those extraterrestrial guns, they'll end the Cold War in an instant, and they could set the world ablaze. Remember the Brezhnev doctrine? Defend all communist countries if one comes under attack. If Prague fights back, they might destroy part of the Red Army, but they'd have every Soviet soldier descend on them in a matter of days. And with weapons like that, it's not out of the question for a human to get so scared they dropped a nuclear bomb on Czechoslovakia. If we don't stop the Koe-Maw's act of supposed altruism, they could easily start World War III.